Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video we'll be talking about the Oppressor Mark II. This is by far one of the most controversial vehicles which has been added into Grand Theft Auto Online. Just the other day I saw Gilly Master post a video explaining why he hates dealing with the Oppressor and how it ruined GTA. I've seen so many videos posted in the past about how the Oppressor Mark II has ruined GTA Online. And I'm not here to say whether it has or hasn't ruined the game. At the end of the day, I don't play in public lobbies that much, so the Oppressor doesn't really bother me too much. And in terms of grinding, it is a very useful tool, but the Sparrow is still faster, and therefore, I actually like using the Sparrow more than the Oppressor Mark II in that situation. So really, the only area the Oppressor dominates is when it comes to PvP. But instead of hating on the Oppressor, in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing how you can deal with the Oppressor Mark II. I'm going to go over the 5 best weapons and vehicles that will allow you to easily take out Oppressors and no longer have to worry about them. If you enjoy content like this and you want to see other videos on other ways to take out overpowered vehicles and players, let me know in the comments down below, right? Because one of the things I always try to strive on this channel is not only money grinding and to get the facts right on what are the best and worst businesses, but also how you can take out and deal with players in public lobbies. I'm a big advocate for selling in the high demand bonus to get that extra cash inflow. But you don't want to sell in a public lobby if you don't know how to take advantage of that high demand bonus. So in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing exactly what you need to know. And that brings us to the first vehicle that I actually find amazing at dealing with Oppressor Mark IIs, and that is the Mammoth Avenger. Honestly, the Avenger is just such a great tool. I actually posted a video a couple months ago talking about why I love using it for grinding. And that video has like a whopping 35,000 views, which is really surprising. But the Avenger is a great grinding tool. It flies at over 170 miles per hour. It has a VTOL mode, meaning that you can land it wherever you want, and it does not count as a personal aircraft, meaning that you can call it in even when you have a personal car already out. When you pair all of those things together, it makes the Avenger a super easy tool. And in the latest updates, Rockstar has given the Avenger the ability to have homing missiles that the pilot can now use, finally giving you some offensive capabilities. But it gets even better. The biggest advantage of the Avenger is that it can survive around 30 homing missiles before being destroyed. The Oppressor Mark II has just about 30 homing missiles. And what that means is that an Oppressor has to hit every single missile on your Avenger to completely take it out of the sky. Or they have to despawn their Oppressor, respawn it, and then go back into the sky and start shooting at you again. And when you pair the fact with the Avenger's insane levels of durability, with the fact that it's also quite a bit faster than the Oppressor Mark II, then realistically, you're just never going to have to worry about Oppressors shooting you out of the sky. So if you're ever playing in a public lobby, pull out the Avenger, you're basically going to be indestructible. When you pair all of that as well with the fact the Avenger has these huge rotors, you can actually just fly right into enemies and blow them up with the rotors. In fact, you can see a clip right here. So I really do like the Avenger. I think it is a great way to deal with Oppressors, and if you're a beginner and you don't have the most skills, I think that is a really solid option. Next up, we have the Toreador. Now, the Toreador is a really interesting choice because it can't fly, it also can't jump, which can be a little annoying because if an Oppressor flies above you, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. But there are certain ways to counteract that. First of all, Toreador does have a rocket boost. And what that means is if you hit a little bump, you can bump the vehicle and then launch it into the air with the rockets. And that's usually the best way and best course of action, is hit some sort of ramp or launch yourself off of an object, and then you'll be in the sky. The Toreador has super dangerous homing missiles. They're not as good as the Deluxos or the Ruiner 2000s, but they are still very dangerous. And what that means is that you can easily deal with anything that's really being thrown at you. And the best part about the Toreador is that it has unlimited homing missiles, plus it can survive around 6 to 8 homing missiles before being destroyed itself. So you have pretty accurate missiles, you have the ability to survive a very extended period of time, and then when you pair all of that with the fact that it's just, really fast, it's got a rocket boost, it can launch itself into the air, I think the Toreador is a great shout, and anybody should mess around with it. It's also just a great vehicle in general for public sessions and missions. It kind of does everything that you'd want. So yeah, really, really good vehicle in general. After the Toreador, we arrive to the Deluxo. I love the Deluxo. It is one of my favorite vehicles in the game. The reason why is because it can fly, and it has incredibly dangerous homing missiles. For those of you that have been still living in 2017, you might not be aware, but the Oppressor Mk II's homing missiles were nerfed. They're now basically the same homing missiles as the Sparrow, which means they're not very accurate. And a skilled Deluxo pilot can actually easily outmaneuver the Oppressor's missiles. You fly towards them, and then at the last second you either dip down or up, and the missiles usually go above you or below you. And once you get that timing right, it's very easy to dodge the missiles. Here's the best part about the Deluxo. Because it can hover in one spot, it can turn on a dime. I mean, it's literally like my office chair here. You can just turn it immediately. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to constantly have a homing missile lock on the Oppressor. And if you keep shooting homing missiles at the Oppressor, it will not be able to outrun them. And because the flares or chaff take so long on cooldown, you will take out the Oppressor. It is one of my favorite vehicles in the game to just demolish them. I usually coalesce or go off the radar for a minute, get my Deluxo into the air, and the moment an Oppressor tries taking me out, boom, dead. Such a good vehicle. I would highly recommend to mess around with the Deluxo. So that's another really, really good shout. The next two are weapons. And I'm actually going to put these weapons in the same category, being the explosive sniper and the railgun. I consider both of these just as effective. The explosive sniper might be a little more effective than the railgun, but it also has downsides. Let's start off with the railgun. How does it work? Basically, the railgun is just a much better RPG or homing missile. It shoots a super fast projectile which blows up upon impact. Now, it goes through glass, which is kind of goofy. However, it's not a problem for you because the Oppressor doesn't have glass. So as long as you hit the enemy with the railgun shot, they're going to die in the Oppressor. Insta blow up their Oppressor, and it kills them. Always an insta-kill. And the railgun is very accurate, so it's actually not too hard to hit those shots. If you aren't going to use the railgun, you also have the option of the explosive sniper. Now, the explosive sniper is definitely more accurate because you have a scope that you can zoom in with, and it also has the ability to knock somebody off their Oppressor. It won't blow up the Oppressor. It takes 2 shots from the explosive sniper to blow it up, but it will knock the person off of their Oppressor. So that means if they're in the sky, usually it will kill them. Sometimes they'll be able to pull out a parachute if they're high enough up and then parachute down, but either way, you've knocked them off of their Oppressor, and that is obviously super, super useful. I would always say to use the explosive sniper if you have it, but obviously not every player does. And if you're a beginner, keep an eye out for the gun van, wait for Rockstar to announce what week they're having the railgun for sale, and pick it up, because that's going to be a super, super useful tool. And then that brings us to the final choice in the game, and that is something that a lot of you might not expect, the Ruiner 2000. Specifically because the Ruiner 2000 can be started in VIP missions, and the fully loaded mission allows you to have an basically indestructible Ruiner. The Ruiner has a couple really good capabilities for taking out Oppressors. First of all, it can fly, right? Being able to jump into the sky, or it can't really fly, but it can parachute and it can jump. And those two things are really nice, because being able to jump into the sky allows you to get a lock on the Oppressor. The second thing that the Ruiner is really good at is homing missiles. By far, the Ruiner 2000 has the most overpowered homing missiles in the game. There's not a single thing that gets close to the homing missiles the Ruiner has. And the reason that is so good is because it allows you to blow up whatever is causing you trouble. So, the only downside of the Ruiner is that it doesn't have unlimited homing missiles and only has 8, and the other downside is the fact that it only can survive 1 explosion. That's it, just blows up as soon as it gets hit. However, starting up VIP work fully loaded spawns a special Ruiner 2000. One that is virtually indestructible. It will survive an unlimited amount of explosions. Well, it's like 20-something explosions. It's more than you'll ever, run into. And even if it does get blown up, the game just spawns you a new one, so it's not a problem at all. And the other thing that's really good about the fully loaded Ruiner is that it has unlimited homing missiles. And they still lock on. So basically, if you're ever fighting an Oppressor, pull out the Ruiner 2000, it will crap on them. It is by far the easiest way to deal with them. So that kind of ends off today's video. Don't get me wrong, I do think that the Oppressor Mark II is still a dominating vehicle in GTA Online, and that it does need to be nerfed in some way. I think that it should maybe only have 10 homing missiles. That would really stop its capabilities. But at the end of the day, it's here, and Rockstar probably isn't going to nerf it. But these vehicles and techniques that I've talked about today will easily deal with them. And if you become skilled with the Ruiner 2000, the Deluxo, or the Railgun and Sniper, you're not going to have much of a problem. I've had many instances and moments on livestream where people who know who I am have tried to go out of their way to blow me up when I'm selling in public lobbies, and we have yet to have a single time I have failed a sale mission in a public lobby yet. And it's because of these tips and tricks that I'm sharing here today. So, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!